Welcome to another Monday Night MegaMek as we continue the adventures of the Emerald Cast Mercenary Company around the Inner Sphere. As a review, this mercenary company is led by a secret clan Jade Falcon watch agent who is trying to survey the situation after they've lost contact with the Wolf's Dragoons. Our goal is to complete a veteran or elite contract with every single great house. Bonus points if we can find the wolves and defeat them on the field of battle. Here's Cheddar, my co-host, and she's walking into the room right now. Hello, Cheddar. Come here. Come say hello. Literally, as I turn around, introduce her, she's walking into the room. This is Cheddar, our lovely senior puppy co-host. Mwah. Making an early appearance. Normally she kind of, bugs me an hour or two in to go for a walkies, but my housemate and friend Garner and podcast host has already taken her out for me because she was kind enough to ask to go out. All right, Cheddar, you get some cuddles and some love, and I'm gonna put you down and get back to my game here. Whoop. Caught cord. Oh. Sorry, Cheddar. Woo! She got caught in my headphone cord. On her bed. Yeah! So, last time on Monday Night MegaMek, we started an objective raid on the planet Newton. Our enemy is the Mercenary Company. Coming back into Mech HQ, I played a lot over the weekend on a separate game, sort of my fun little private game set in, started in 3069, made it all the way to 3072, and there's a couple of interesting things I noted. Specifically, I wanted to pop in here and take a look at Gun, our commander here, and I wanted to come in here and find, change secondary profession, civilian. There's all kind of, so all the options I saw in my personal game are not here. So I wanted to go through and take a look at some of our campaign options and other things, because this file started with Mech HQ version 50.6 or something, 50.5. We updated 50.7 and now we are on 50.11, which is their newest sort of stable release. And I want to double check some of the settings here, in specifically something we noted, I think is in operations. Here we go. Rented facilities. Now, when we updated, this is a new feature that I really like, because they are implementing sort of limits on, your MASH facilities, your field kitchens, your prison guards, and all of this stuff. They are, at the start of every new contract, they offer you the opportunity to rent them and cover stuff that you're missing. Now, when we updated, these values defaulted to 0 and set to 0 disable, right? On the new game I started over the weekend, they cost thousands. I forget the exact numbers, but they are a lot more than this. So we're going to add some zeros here to these, if they would let me do that right. The other thing is there are a couple of players on a local Discord. I engaged in a little sort of RPG scenario that involved attacking a dropship, and I think I was the only person of the some 15 to 20 people who were there for RPG Day, it's pretty popular, who had ever actually fought a Union dropship before and engaged with the rules. The thing about MegaMek is it doesn't teach you the rules, but it does implement them. It's kind of how they really want you to buy the rule books. Like, notice over here, this little option here, pay for overhead, field manual, mercenaries revised. It doesn't exactly tell you what it does, but it wants you to buy the rulebook. It tells you what rulebook it is. So we are going to enable some stuff that I was using in my personal game that I thought was pretty interesting. We might take a look at some of the MegaMek optional rules. We are basically playing with standard rules. We're not really playing with many optional rules, and I want to take a chance here, since we've been going for a while, to look at some of the optional things we've been reviewing and all of that. Now, you see capture style, president queue, personal information. There was an option in the settings. So, unit name, Emerald Cast. I designed this one myself for the Emerald Cast, and we're using a camouflage from Killing. Normally not like I have to scroll left and right on here to do this. So I want to just double check a few things here. If you notice, the star stuff is something that was implemented recently. There's some kind of visual indicator somewhere on this for that. But again, my user interface is huge. So general, I don't think we want to use commander initiative bonus, toughness, artillery skill, SPAs, all of that. This is all fine. Implants and things are kind of cool. Awards. Awards are a major way your characters gain experience. I definitely suggest using them. We don't want to ignore the standard set. This is all good. Medical. Permanent medics, yes. Advanced medical, yes. Easy alternative modes, no. Random diseases. No, we don't want random diseases. That just sounds like a recipe for bad RNG. Track all of that. Extended log skill gains, totally cool with that. Expendable patient log, yeah, I'm fine with all of that. Nothing new there. Prisoners, civilians, capture style, mecha queue, that's totally fine. Totally fine. Nothing there. General random experience. No. So there are presets for this. If you're starting a new campaign, you know, you can just pick a starting option. If you notice here, there's load presets. There's a prompt before this asking you what kind of level of detail you want to do it, because this could go anything from just the bare bones make it through play missions to a full-on a time of war simulator. So actually, one second here. Let me go to the pre-show. I'm still on Steam for some reason. I want to log out of that so you don't see those random pop-ups. Alright, back to Mech HQ. Alright, so we're fine with all of that. Human resources. We've gone through personal. We've got biography, general backgrounds. I love the randomly generated backgrounds. I love reading through the interesting stuff about characters and implementing RPG. That's how we have Gordana Banana. Gordana Banana Peel Mitsui. It's not an actual call sign, it's something that she earned. And I love the idea of just playing things out based on their personality, figuring out characters that you do like. Lao Clown Origins, we're not going to do that. We're not worried about any of this. Death, random death, that's fine. No suicide, that's sad. That'd be very sad to find out. Override requirements. Weekly accidents and events, they don't care. Dropout, yeah. Name and portraits, not worry about rank systems. We're using the Starly Defense Force rank system, but it has options for lots of stuff. If there is a random source book with this kind of information on it, it's probably in here. Relationships, I don't care. Turnover and retention, like procreation. This is designed so that you can have these campaigns, these mercenary units, go for centuries sometimes. You could start in the Star League and go all the way through to the current timeline and beyond, 3152. And so you can have, you know, the mercenary force handed down with generations. So that's cool. Turnover, fatigue, salaries. This is not what I need to worry about right now. This is not something we need to figure out here. Advancement, skills, yeah, that we have pretty much all of the skills enabled, including all the RPG skills. If you notice, gunnery skills, piloting skills, support skills, utility skills, roleplay skills. Like, this is where, look at all this. This is where the A Time of War stuff comes into play, and that's kind of what I'm hunting for. combat abilities, maneuvering abilities, flaws, origins, right? Like, so cool. Enable all. Yeah. Flaws. Enable all. I'm just hitting. I want all of it. So even if that, I should have already done that, but we're just double checking. Logistics. Yeah, because advancement we're done with. Logistics. Operations. We'll double check what I'm doing here in a second. Food. Oh. Yes, I want to pay for food. Now, see how this has a little warning symbol here? Yeah. Yep, I want to pay for food. I want to pay for everything. I'm totally fine with this. Price multipliers, don't care. Digital GMs. The time of war, here we go. Use better extra income. Soldiers use small arms only. No. Faction standing. So in my personal campaign, I've seen some really cool stuff pop up. Some little prompts about faction reputation, like internal communications from higher ups in Clan Jade Falcon. Obviously, my personal campaign is Clan Jade Falcon. I have a chosen home, and it's just really cool. And I'm hoping we start to see some of that in this campaign as we go forward. Don't use seed forces. I don't think there's anything here. I think it's in scenario map size normal. This is all fine. I think it's in logistics, maintenance and repairs, operations. Yeah, I think we're actually fine. All right, so we're gonna apply. We're gonna go back here. And let's actually go to, I think it's camp followers we need to find. Oop. So, civilians. Okay, here we go. So if you notice, signal jamming specialist, data intercept operator. Right, change. It's not showing. Here we go. It lets you select primary profession for some of this stuff. He's actually a watch agent, and so to reflect that, I kind of the game stuff. But I saw one. I mean, embedded military alert. I mean, counterintelligence liaison, code breaker, data interceptor, signal deep cover operator. This is it. Infiltrates enemy or rival organizations living under a false identity for long-term intelligence gathering. Requires disguise and language. All right, so we're gonna go in. We're just gonna edit because he should have had this from the start. All right, so we're gonna edit person. We're gonna go to skills. And you can see all of this stuff. We are going to give him. Now, skills are divided largely by, up at the top is going to be your stuff that is really actually used in MegaMek versus stuff that's RPG. So we're going to go down and we're going to find disguise wherever it is. It should be in D. Or does it already have it? Does it already have disguise? Yes, he already has disguise. So now we need language. Wherever language ended up. There we go. Language any. And cool. We'll give him a bunch of points in that. Great. Okay. And now we should be able to change his primary profession to deep cover operator. Boom. Now Sao is technically no longer mech warrior, but we can find him in civilians now. Children, prisoner war, civilians. There we go. Air gun. And we can change his secondary profession to mech warrior. So he should now pop up in mech warriors. I don't skill level green all of a sudden, but he's still, if you look, a 2-3. He's green because of his disguise. In which case, yeah, we're gonna up his levels in disguise now. For language 4, there we go. And see, now he's a veteran. I think that's cool. I just think that's cool. Because he is I just wish I could set it as his secondary profession. Yeah, mech range instructor, teacher, planetary immigration processor, military academy dropout, some depreciated things. Support, admin, combat, mech war. Like, I guess technically his primary profession, his entire mission and reason for being here is he is a deep cover operator. He is a clan watch agent operating in the inner sphere. So there we go. I just thought that was cool. That was an interesting way to start. So, yeah, it's been a couple weeks. I've been playing a whole bunch of other MegaMek and having a blast figuring all that out. And some of the, like, really getting more in depth in some of the other features and things. Now, they do have, we're going to go back into it and see if I can actually find it. Now, there is an alternative salvage system that they have in here directly out of campaign operations, and it's really cool, but I also hate it, and I'll tell you exactly why once I find where it is. I think it's in operations. All person shares, taxes, rented facilities. Okay, there's that. Markets. Use cam op salvage. So what that means, if you're using campaign operations salvage, it means you have a dedicated part of your operation to salvage that you can send out at the end of every mission. I think that's cool. I think it's nuanced. I think the idea that you have to have a bunch of BattleTech recovery vehicles and other things to send them out after a mission to get the salvage is cool. The problem is you are the only one doing it, and so if you're playing a contract where you have 50% salvage, you have to salvage everything and you only keep 50% of it. The people you're working for never actually go out and claim anything. So if you're using it and you're off on your own, it's really cool. If you're not off on your own, it only hurts you. So no. What is booster contract skill? No, we're good. All right. So I don't remember changing anything, but we're good here. Let's take another review here. So we have our command lance, our secondary lance, and our support, which includes security and a convoy. Again, all right, so something else I learned with the convoy force is if you are over 200 tons in your convoy, it means you're more likely to be intercepted here. So we might want to switch things up here. And I mean, we have the Buffalo hover truck, 100 tons. Tons of cargo capacity, but we're pretty much like, it has no crew anyway, so we're going to remove that. And we are left with cargo space 3 tons, cargo space 10 tons, and a mash truck with cargo space infantry. I think we're fine. We have a total of, what is this now? 13 tons. That's not a lot, but it's going to be more than what our employers will typically offer us. And we can, now that we know this, find more vehicles to fill out our salvage force. We have our motorized platoon here for security. So we have convoy and security. And if you look, you can force type salvage. That's it. Support, combat, convoy, security, you know, all of this. So this is great. Crusaders damaged. Our guys are fine. We have a mission coming up already, which is the convoy escort, which we can advance and get started here. I think we've covered about everything. Reminder of our cast of characters here. The cast for the Emerald Cast. We have Ergan, our captain. He is our clan watch agent. He's a 2/3, and he is, as our main character, he has natural aptitude gunnery, natural aptitude piloting, which means instead of normally rolling 2d6, he rolls 3d6 and keeps the 2 highest, which is definitely broken to have both of those, but again, he's our main character. I'm keeping with that. We have Gordana Banana Peel Metsui, who loves to run up and kick things and always seems to fail. She believes the best defense is an overwhelming offense, always pushing forward and keeping up the pressure. Hesitation is weakness and refuses to give opponents a chance to recover. That is one of those randomly generated descriptions, which again, I love. We have Edith, who has not yet done something interesting to earn a call sign. If you feel like you've come up with a call sign for it, please put it in chat, leave it as a comment, because that's part of what streaming is about, interacting with the audience. She has Hot Dog and Rangemaster Long. Oh, I didn't realize she had Rangemaster Long. That is fantastic. No wonder she's the longbow. I think we just did that at the end of the last stream, if I remember right. Spent a bunch of experience. Yeah, 6 experience. We just spent experience at the end. And Sherry Hopscotch, she has Jumping Jack, which is an incredibly good ability. It changes the penalty from jumping to +3, meaning it more difficult to hit, to +1. Very nice. Last time we also learned that she got minor psychosis, split personality. I'm just gonna get rid of that because it doesn't really affect the game, and it just does all these annoying prompts. If you look, we have GM mode activated, and we're gonna right click. I actually had that generate twice. It's gonna be under abilities. You can scroll down here, you just find the flaws. There it is. We're just gonna get rid of that because it really is annoying. I love all these changes. There's all these guides to stuff down here. Not everything is perfect when you adapt it from a very expansive, in-depth RPG into the game here. So that is our primary lance. We have our secondary lance of characters, Arso, who, if I remember right from his description, is kind of a butthead. Plays the long game, outmaneuvering competitors before they even realize there's a game being played. He makes alliances when they serve his goals. So we've kind of relegated people who seem like buttheads or just unskilled into our secondary lance here. It looks like Sherry and Grace have the exact same picture. So no, I don't like that. We're gonna randomize her portrait. There we go. That's Grace now. Already making big and bold changes to the game, but we have Kathleen Leroy as, I guess she just recently joined us. She Gunnery 4-6, yeah, so she's just an extra pilot. We're gonna go and we're gonna jump right into this convoy escort mission, which is in a few days. So employee turnover, nobody wants to leave, great. We have a morale update. We've got +1. Nothing important here. Incoming transmission. I received a direct transition from someone identifying themselves as Winch. It's an offer service, straightforward and professional, no security breaches or unusual activity involved, just a direct communication. Winch's message outlines their experience and the value they believe they could bring to the unit. It's not every day we get a cold offer like this, so I thought you'd want to be aware. Captain, shall I patch them through? Yeah, let's do it. This is always going to be some guy trying to join our force, and we can see kind of the recruitment thing here. This is, oh gosh. Winch Kalaka. Durgadasa Winch Kalaka. Winch. I grew up in the middle of New York. I apologize to whatever group I am mispronouncing that name from. I have no experience with names like that. But Winch. I've been through enough to know that fear isn't the enemy, hesitation is. That's why I'm reaching out. I don't run when things get ugly. I don't hesitate when the odds turn bad. When the shells are falling and the line is breaking, I'm the one who stands firm. I'm not looking for easy jobs or glory. I know what it means to face down the impossible and survive it. You want somebody who stands tall when the walls close in? I'm your answer. That's a good pitch. That is a really good pitch to join a mercenary unit. Blood type, A+. Great. I don't know why we need to know that. I mean, they've including so much new medical stuff. Maybe at some point they need blood donors and that'll matter. But there we go. A+, 26, call sign Winch, great. Gunnery 4, piloting 4, totally average. Performance exam 51%. Last one out, takes the risk and others don't have to. Anchor in chaos. I like that. We could use guys. We don't have a full company yet, so yeah, cool. Your sales pitch did begin, Winch. Welcome to the team. We hired a new guy at the beginning of the month. Back to the command center. So current commission stalemate, unit market. So as I mentioned, we might be interested in some vehicles, and oh boy, there's a lot of vehicles available, but we are looking for something. Ooh, engineering vehicle. That has no cargo capacity. I think we're just going to take another, like, BattleTech recovery vehicles have 10 tons of cargo, 6'9" wheeled, relatively cheap. We could use at least one more cargo vehicle, so we're going to buy that. And I don't think I'm really interested in anything else. I mean, there's a heavy BattleMech recovery vehicle, but that's 70 tons. Excuse me, I think that's going to put us over the 200-ton, like, sort of stealth limit here, and I'm not really interested in much of anything else. Do you have some mechs available? Our funds are 39 million C-bills. I'm not overly interested in any of those mechs right now. Maybe an Ostrock, but mercenary auction, we're not going to deal with it. We're just going to get right into the next mission. Speaking of convoys and supplies, Captain, our employer has a delivery ready for us, but is offering to expand it if we can supply our own transports. They're offering an estimated delivery of 16 tons if we can provide our own vehicles, otherwise it'll just be 4 tons. And this is why you have your own convoy force. So we're going to use our convoy. We have around 3 tons of space. We should have a lot more than that. We're going to hit the X. Oh, I think we missed that. But we're going to double check why that is. So convoy. It is a convoy force. We just bought sector personnel for, where is it? Vehicle crews. Convoy assignment. We don't have anybody extra to assign to the new vehicle here. I think we're going to get rid of people from the MASH truck. None. I mean, we have a MASH truck. We're going to remove our TOE. Alright, and let's go to the hangar. Oh! It's going to be delivered in 20 days. Maybe if we put this guy in. Driver. Assigned person. Crew member. Regular. Who we got here? You. Great, now it actually should work. And now we're at 100 tons. We can put that in. Boom. Here are 200 tons. That's fine. And we missed the dialogue option. So we might have lost out. So yeah, let's go do this. Let's do this mission. We got to assign our force. Ooh. Our command lance is in the field still from this mission, so convoy escort is actually going to have to be our secondary lance. Let's look back. We have a Wyvern, Phoenix Hawk, and 2 awesomes. Total BV for that force is 6,600. Go to the briefing room. Convoy escort. Enemy forces are 11,000. Our integrated allies are about 4,000, so we should out BV them, even with it's just our secondary guys. So that said, now that I remember, Mech Warriors, Arso's a butthead. We do not like him. He is a 3-4. I'm gonna get rid of, like, no, I don't want him piloting anything. You've got these 2 guys. Make them privates. And we got Winch. Winch, I like you. You are going into that Phoenix Hawk, and you are joining that. There we go. I don't remember much of some of these past characters and other people. I do know that Arso's a butthead, and I don't like him. So if we can relegate him to side duty, great. So now we're going to send them out. Because they're assigned, you can kind of assign some bonuses as a secondary lance. We're not going to worry about any of that. And while we wait for MegaMek to load, we'll pop up my loading screen here. Like, it normally doesn't take long for MegaMek to open, but sometimes it does take a minute to open because it's a 20-plus-year-old program. It's running on, what, Flash? So it's buggy, but that's what you get for something this deep and rich, free and fan-made. Anyone involved with MegaMek watching, I applaud you guys so much for what you do. I love MegaMek because of and in spite of some of its flaws. And it's still not opening. All right. Let's try this again. Start game. There we go. An allied convoy carrying critical supplies is moving through hostile territory, and enemy forces are preparing to intercept. Your mission is to ensure that the convoy reaches its destination. At least 50% of the convoy must reach the far edge of the engagement area intact. These supplies are vital to sustaining our operations, and failure is not an option. Should the enemy resistance prove too strong for a full escort, you have an alternative means to secure victory. If at least 50% of the convoy survives while you destroy or rout 50% of the enemy forces, the mission will be considered a success. Breaking the enemy's will to fight will give the convoy a clear path forward. We will control the field at the conclusion of the battle. This means you have full authority to dictate the engagement on your terms. Use the terrain, control the tempo, and eliminate threats efficiently. Hold the line, protect the convoy, and ensure that these supplies reach their destination. Alright, and because of the map, the sort of like the overall sort of strategic command, they have an industrial center, which means the Op4 indicates a larger, more well-equipped force. There's a spaceport, so they have a larger force. Employee supplied use on an integrated force, that's fine. Data center, a detail of enemy scout mechs has been spotted in the area. So they have a whole bunch of extra stuff, and that can cause problems. Commence drop. Here we go. Now MegaMek should be loading. I'm gonna put up the load screen and, you know, awkwardly wait. Come on. Come on. You can do it. It's nothing to do with my computer either. Like, my computer might be old, but it is a custom-built PC for design software, and might not be top of the line now, but it was definitely top of the line a few years ago. And here we go. MegaMek. This will keep the back of queue, so pop the windows out. Now, ooh, this reminds me of something we're going to do. Alright. I'm actually going to exit out of this. Nope. And we're going to go back here. Let's adjust that. Alright. So it's important to do this here because it saves it for your whole campaign. We are going to go into MegaMek options. So these are your settings for MegaMek whenever you launched it and you're playing the game of BattleTech. So we are right now playing with pretty much the default standard BattleTech rules, and I wanted to operate on that for quite a while because, you know, I wanted to be closer to regular BattleTech. But this is episode 14. I want to take another look through this and move it more towards kind of an RPG. So I like blind drop, which means we won't be able to see what our opponent's mech is, and I like real blind drop. I like blind drop and real blind drop. It means we hide what we're facing until we see it. And you can always come in and turn it off and on again if for some reason you really need to see what your opponents are, but I prefer that. And also important here is, I'll find it here. None of this is particularly important right now for the way we're playing. I do like to skip ineligible during movement and during firing just to save time, so you don't have to hit the skip button. La 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 la. So recently they have introduced it. Recently, Catalyst Game Labs, the people who make BattleTech, have introduced playtest packages. And if you notice here, I think I mentioned this recently on my return, that somewhere in the MegaMek rules they have toggles for some of those optional rules, and I found them right here. Now, they are still using the side hit location tables. Those are absolute garbage. Do not use playtest package number 1. They are still using the absolute garbage rules. Now here's the thing. CGL is not going to be using the side hit tables. What those side hit tables rules do, it makes shots from the side the most vulnerable location on the mech. It means damage distribution is only on the left or only on the right side, and it means, you know, a mech on average goes from like 250 total like armor health points to like 125. Like I did a whole spreadsheet. There's an episode of the podcast about this. This is awful. Do not use it. It is bad. The mobility rules are cool. I like them. It means it's easier to deal with water. It's easier to stand up. Gear rules, I'm kind of wishy-washy about. I don't remember exactly everything, but eventually some of these are going to be standard rules implemented in a new BattleTech manual, a new core rulebook. Won't include vehicles, but it will be mechs. I don't know how it's going to be implemented in MegaMek, but mobility rules, these are eventually going to be standard and they're not bad. I'd avoid gear. Do not do survivability. The side hit location tables are awful. Absolute garbage. Nothing. Oh, flamers per BattleTech manual. That means flamers will deal damage and heat. I like that. And yeah, we're going to be doing that too. Smoke drift. I like smoke drifting. So there's some optional rules that are often referred to as MegaMek only. There are things that you would never want to use on the table, but because MegaMek does them for you, you can use them like smoke drifting. Victory conditions, we never want any of these on. We just want to have skip all phases when forced victory occurs, means you can enter /victory when you know you've won. Allowed units and equipment, this is great. For the RPG, I do suggest everyone do the allow invalid unit designs, because technically speaking, there are canon designs that you can find for units that are invalid, possibly because the construction rules have changed, but those sometimes pop up as randomly generated, and sometimes there'll be units that you have to defend and make sure to survive. And so if they're not allowed, they're just deleted by default and you can automatically lose. So this is one that for Mech HQ, for a narrative campaign type thing, you definitely want on. I don't think we need to worry about anything else. We don't need to restrict that. Advanced rules. Okay. Here's some cool stuff. Team Steer Vision. We don't really need to worry about Beagle Active Probes or ECM or Ghost Targets because we are in 3027. I do like TAC Ops Double Blind. If checked, enemy units will only be visible if they are within line of sight one or more units or within sensor range. TAC Ops Sensor Rule. I like this in my personal campaign. It means that at night you can't just see across the board. It means you have to have sensors involved. It makes it really more in depth. You have to apply some RPG stuff to it, and I think we're going to go with that. We don't worry about ghost targets. Dig in. Battlefield wreckage. If a unit's destroyed, it creates difficult terrain in that location. I like that. Vehicle crews, don't worry about that. Partial repairs. Inclusive sensor ranges. If you're playing with the whole, you need to be able to detect units within sensors, I suggest you do this. The way sensors work in BattleTech, at the start of every round, each unit makes a roll to see what range band of their sensors are operational. Inclusive sensor ranges means that if you roll better and your sensors go further out, it also includes shorter ranges. So you're not penalized, you're not restricted to only this one band. It means the better you roll, the more you have overall. So that's good. You want that one. I like woods. We're going to start playing with woods burning down, which means fire and smoke and cool, interesting things. I'm a big D&D 3.5 player. I like having more options and more tools and more immersion in my RPGs. And so we're clicking some stuff here. Extreme temperature survival. That means if a mech warrior is in harsh environmental conditions, which is any environmental conditions with the optional rules. Snowing means it's negative 50 degrees out Celsius. Not 0, negative 50. Yes, that would be really bad. And so we want this. Mech warrior should be able to spot. This is all fine. Combat. We're going to double check this. Well, yeah. Attack ops, missiles, yada yada. Let's actually go back here for rules. There we go. This is the one I wanted. Default box to single blind when attack ops double blind is you. That's something to keep in mind if you're playing with these double blind rules. It means the bot ignores them and can see everything, which can be really unbalanced because you're playing with limited vision when they're not. But also because they're bots, if they can't see you, they might not actually move forward and start attacking you. So this might be something to consider if you load up a mission and your allies / your enemies are just kind of like just sitting still and not doing anything. This is something you might need to check on or off depending on the situation. So going into combat here, we've already activated floating critical hits. That's a very standard rule that's fantastic to play with. Called shots is absolutely broken. Essentially, it means you can call high, low, left, right for a +3 to your difficulty to your shooting, +3 penalty, and it means you have a higher chance of hitting the head, you have a higher chance of hitting the legs, left, right, and so on. The princess doesn't use it, and it's only an advantage to players. It's kind of fun if you are raffle stomping. It's kind of really useful if you're playing against clans as a princess, because Mech HQ doesn't balance by adjusted BV, it balances by default BV, which means when you're fighting the clans, they are incredibly skilled, and having something to fight that is important, but we do not have to worry about that right now. I like starting fires. It means you can start fires intentionally or not. We're going to do tac ops firing while prone, which means you can fire and shoot while prone even while missing an arm. Nothing here I think is worth doing or particularly interesting. Yep, trip attack, Gothic dazzle mode. I just love that they have that as an option. Like, dazzle mode is like lets you kind of turn down the damage of your lasers to instead dazzle these weird like Gothic abominations in Gothic, and that's cool, but we don't have to worry about that. Yada yada. Advanced mech hit locations, that's kind of cool but also kind of bad. It means similar to the other state change in side arc, it means from the side arc you can be hit from the rear. And as somebody who plays a lot of tabletop BattleTech, it forces you to change the way you think and the way you operate, and I don't like that. There we go. Unjam ultra autocannons. We don't really have any ultra autocannons, but that's something I really want because it sucks when they jam. And I don't think there is much of anything else here. I like sprinting. Sprinting means you can sprint up to double your walking, but you take a penalty to your TMM and you can't shoot. It's kind of like sprinting in Alpha Strike. If you've played Alpha Strike, we're going to re-enable that. I don't think there's... All right. There we go. Defensive weight modifier means that if you're on a heavier mech, they're less likely to fall over, but there's also tac ops taking damage. So tac ops taking damage is actually a rule that a lot of people think is standard in BattleTech. In regular tabletop BattleTech, when you take 20 damage, there's a chance your mech might fall. You've lost over a ton of armor. You're off balance. Now, some people think that, say, when you take 40 damage, you take a PSR at a 2 penalty instead of the 1 penalty for 20 damage. Not true by standard rules, but this is the optional rule that means if you take 40 damage is +2, 60 damage is +3, and so on. I like activating this rule only when you have the defensive... Well, this is physical PSR. Well, I still like activating this rule. There's a rule that makes heavier mechs more difficult to topple over. I thought that was that one, but whatever. We are enabling this stuff because it's fun. And also, standing and getting up is easier because we enacted the new movement rules. So that's kind of cool. I like careful stand. We already have that on. And yep. We don't want that. There we go. Vehicles can be abandoned. So that this is particularly useful for us now that we're going to start using some vehicles. It means you can eject from the vehicle. It's very important to actually eject from vehicles and mechs in MegaMek because Princess will just murder any unit that is immobile. They don't. Princess does not see an immobile mech or a shutdown mech or whatever as a not threat to let surrender. They will murder the easiest target to shoot. And so being able to eject, being able to leave your vehicle saves the vehicle, saves the crew from just being obliterated and taking, you know, damage they can't fix. Now, there's also attack ops attempting to stand. It means it's harder for a mech to stand if it has the damage or destroyed arms. I like that for immersion. And I don't think I need to worry about anything else. Yep. Okay. So now that we've done that and it's saved, and I don't have to adjust it twice, now we're going to jump right into the mission. So, sorry for the delay in getting the actual, you know, playing of the game, but, oh, we are not on, oh, yeah, okay, notice here, we only see our allies. You know, team one, team one. I can't see our enemies anymore. I can't look here and see what they are. So this is great. Now, this is the convoy, and when you are engaged with a convoy, it is important to check the bot settings. MegaMek has done a great job of changing the way that the default bot settings, default princess settings act for these generated things. But if you notice, facing awareness 4, it's not the middle. Middle is sort of standard here. But we don't want this. We are going to click the convoy button and see how that changes. Self-preservation, avoid, bravery, run away. It changes the way the AI, the trains princess, operates, because if you leave it to default princess on this convoy who is supposed to just be running across the map, if you leave it on standard, it means this armored personnel carrier, this thing with like maybe a machine gun, yep, 2 machine guns, is going to run face first into the enemy and try to kill it. We do not want them fighting, we want them running. And so we start in the south. We auto flee board to the north. That's the other important thing to check, to make sure that they are trying to run away. Okay, great. So now that we've checked the AI, we've got everything started here. We are good to go. Oh, exclusive deployment zone. All right. We are going to check. Yeah, there it is. Exclusive double-blind deployment zones. We don't need to worry. That is off. Now we're good to go. Let's resize this. Make sure you guys can see some of the buttons. There we go. And okay, that's the mini map is on my screen. All right, we're all good. Fantastic. I think we're good. Let's see other information here. They want initiative. Take a look at the situation. So we are starting on the south, and our allies are trying to get to the north. All right, and we can't control where they deploy, so next unit. That is us. So we can't just let our allies choose to deploy. We are great. Hopefully they choose to deploy around us. Now, normally the better options for trying to go across the map are going to be the edges of the map, but ice and things make them not particularly good. I think I like this path here. Right, but we shall see, because there's this clear exit there, kind of directly in the way. Everything else is kind of worse terrain. So we are in fact going to deploy here. We want our awesomes to have clear line of sight for the most part, and they kind of do. So Duck, you're deploying first, followed by our other awesome. We're going to have them in those positions moving forward. Okay, force your mech. There we go. Force your mech. Don't know why it's over there. That's kind of annoying. They really should be deploying over to our left. It's kind of the hope. we want our Wyvern and Phoenix Hawk to start right off. I'm going to actually put our Phoenix Hawk Winter, new guy, in these woods right here. And our Wyvern on the ground right here. We want them to engage enemies that try to go after the convoy. Alright. They won initiative again. This is the first turn of actual combat. There we go. I don't remember if I actually... So now I'm curious because I don't remember if I had activated this option in previous ones, but this is the... Where is it? Show possible moves options. What's the best possible modifiers? Okay. That's a little too much information. We actually don't want that. Now it's not turning off. No. Alright, it's not turning off. Maybe I need to switch units. Possible moves. There we go. It's gone. So this visualization you can see here. Walking is this light green. Running is the yellow. And sprinting, the new option, is this pink. And because we're going to control P here, planetary conditions, which we didn't look at beforehand, which we should have. Fog. Heavy fog. Right there. That is what's going to make this tricky, because that means if you look, normally moving 1 hex is 1 movement point. It's 2 extra in heavy fog. Now what we can do is move recklessly. Where's the reckless button? Right here. Let's move this up. We'll see all the buttons. Move recklessly, and that means you ignore the movement penalty for fog at the price of a PSR. Now, because she is a 4/5, I don't think we're going to do that. Now, you do want to try and move your assault mechs first, because it's less important for them to have positioning. Also note, this bracket, this box here, that is visual range, and sensor range is normally a little bit further here. I'm not seeing their sensor range. Let's go to systems, or extras, yeah. Mech radar, great. And we're gonna run. Oh, wait, no, you can jump, can't you? So this is, yeah, this is a great advantage of jumping, because jumping ignores the penalties, and you can just go. Jumping in fog is great. This Phoenix Hawk can't jump when I thought it could. Oh boy, when you're 4/4, we still don't want you risking movement, so we're gonna just have you run that way. Great. Alright, see, we can see the firing bands, and it might say, with a large laser targeting the wasp, it's not giving us target numbers. Target. Yep. So we see them, but we can't shoot them. And that's generally going to be because of a sensor range proc. Now, it's not... Normally, it'll tell me... Yes, it's no target selected for some reason. Alright, come on. Target. Yeah. Alright, we're going to double check the settings here. I think I made a mistake in... I'll show you here. I think it's advanced combat. It's these sensors display all information. That might be the bad thing that we should not have enabled. Yep, attack off sensor rules. That's great. Yeah, reveal all unit information. If checked, units will be fully revealed only when detected by sensors instead of just displaying a sensor return, because this might be technically a sensor return, which is why I'm not able to target. Yeah, because see, I can't select next target. Normally you can. Yeah, it's not letting me shoot. So we just have sensor pings. We don't actually see them. The visual prompt is incorrect. Alright, see, we're all learning things. There we go. See, this is what you normally see for sensor range. This sort of blue bracket. So this wyvern is going to be able to actually shoot things because it has sensor ranges now. And we want some kind of TMM here, but we don't want that 4 heat. We're going to just jump forward 3. Same here. No sensor range. Systems, mech radar. Yep. Yep. Current sensor 0, 0. So your sensors are not doing great right now. And same here. Why are you not doing great? But that's alright. Because now they're in visual range. That's all we need. Yep. So now we can see it illustrated more clearly. So if you look, 2 hit, 0% outside of visual and sensor range. And this makes more sense for an RPG element of heavy fog, where you're not going to be able to see infinitely and you're depending on your sensors to ping back and forth. And as we showed in the mech radar, the sensor roll is 0. Sensors are not functioning for some reason, so he's not going to be able to shoot anything unless he has visuals on it. And yeah, that means sadly our awesome, who's dependent on range, is not going to be able to shoot anything. So he's going to have to skip, and that's really annoying. And here we have our wyvern with a large laser on this tank, and yep. Notice this purple line here, that's the sensor range. So we're going to be able to shoot at anything in sensor range. However, heavy fog sucks. So gunnery skill 4, heavy fog 1. We jumped, they moved 2, target jumped +1, 2 medium range. So our only good target is going to be trying to shoot this vehicle here with a large laser. And we have no sensor range for our winch here, so skip firing. Yeah, this is a perfect mission to sort of really show the difficulty of this sensor range thing. Now if you look, the sensor range goes all the way out here, shooting goes out here, so in theory we should be able to target other things. There we go. Target. Oh, we can target here. And that's what we want. We want to blow up this wasp. So we are going to torso twist and blow up this wasp. Done. Yeah, this really emphasizes weather conditions and visibility, and it can be annoying, but I kind of like it. And if you look, that wasp we just shot kicked a heavy BattleMech recovery vehicle and caused a critical. So we are off to an interesting start. We got this, because remember, all this stuff that's happening to us is also happening to our opponent, and this kind of fog heavy conditions here can make things take a little bit longer, be a bit of a slog. But because Princess does not generally know how to recklessly move when you have better pilots, overall this is going to be a net good thing to a human player. Here we go. Sensor ranges are longer this time, so Doc should be able to actually shoot something. Wingman also should be able to shoot. All right. Feel free to let me know if you think these are cool rules that seem interesting to play with, or if you think this is dumb and we should get rid of them. Ooh, there's a locust right there. Oh, we just got it. Where did those locusts come from? Oh boy, this is getting interesting already. All right, now, yeah, anything that can jump is still going to generate a modifier. You know, like zoom in here. That's the red is jump, and the 3 is the modifier. So those are going to be harder to hit. but we can't see them. So we don't normally want to jump right now because we are not the best gunnery in the world. We do want to get closer so that we can actually see. So, can we jump? Nope. We want to be able to shoot and engage. And here it's shooting. We want to shoot with our biggest guns first, see if we can open stuff up. And that is going to be our awesomes. And Doc, really there's only one target, and that's going to be that wasp. Wingman, what can you see? More than that wasp. You can see the other wasp. We also have an advantage right now of most of our opponents are just regular 4 or 5 pilots, except for Viper here. Nope, that's just a Viper. Okay, critical. See who has this name here in quotations? That is going to be the J. Edgar Light Hover Tank. Gunnery driving 3-4. Don't care. We are definitely going to engage the mech. 7's 58% chance. I'm okay with those. Let's gain some heat. We're going to go 6 over, but that's okay. We want to shoot the heavy thing. Alright, that's still short range, large laser. Yeah, that's what we got. And here we have the back of this locust from Winch. Yes. We are 3 hex at short range for medium lasers. We have 8's 42. We're in the rear. I think we're going to overheat. And we're going to make an attempt to kill it. Let's see what happens. Allies do some shooting. Weapons fire, weapons fire. So this is one of their named people, this hover tank, does actually hit the forestry mechs. The convoy is taking some damage I don't like. Doc misses. 3 shots on 8, 40% chance each, misses with all of them. Come on, Doc. Alright, we've lost a personnel carrier to something out of our sensor range. Allied rifleman makes some shots and misses. Personnel carrier makes some shots, hits with a machine gun. The Viper we're trying to kill is shooting at an armored personnel carrier and missing. Yeah, that's the thing about this fog and this vision. It means there's going to be a lot of missing. Except on our awesome, apparently, which is taking some damage from the locust. But better us than, say, I don't know, Cairn, this forestry mech that just lost a leg. Oh no. And yeah, Hawkman up for critical hit on the personnel carrier. We are not dealing much damage so far. Here we go, Phoenix Hawk Winch. This is our new guy. He does hit with a medium laser, 5 damage into the right arm. Gets rid of the shoulder and machine gun. So you've got one good thing out of all of that to happen. We can try to punch on a 5. Yes. Yes, -1. Battle Fist. That is a quirk. We are playing with quirks, and quirks are cool. 8 damage to the head. Punch to the face. An awesome punch to the face of a locust, I think, should just destroy it, but, you know, it didn't. Alright, we are entering a new turn. Let's see what happens. The Fog Slog. It is to our advantage because we have our allied convoy over here on the left and are making it forward. We have this heavy battle mech recovery vehicle to hopefully try to protect, but yes, the Cairn, the forestry mech, Prickleback, some of these guys are not in good positions. We want to move our awesomes first. Now this awesome has gained some heat, so it can't even walk forward once. We're just going to skip movement entirely on this guy. And hopefully that'll bait some extra attacks against it instead of our convoy. Because the whole mission is to protect the convoy and destroy 50% of them. And well, I normally wouldn't advise just constantly staying still, because you know, these forestry mechs and this just pickup truck, yeah, an ambulance, they are not particularly sturdy, so we want them shooting us instead of them. Winch. Alright, Winch. We gotta make a decision here. Let's pull you up here. Alright, Winch. When everything goes wrong, Winch is the one still standing, ready to fight. He charges into danger, not because it's easy, because someone has to, and if that means being the last to announce, so be it. Mind doesn't wander because he's careless, it wanders because he needs to escape. He stays too present in the moment. The weight of everything, of war, loss, and struggle might finally break him, so he lets himself slip away just for a moment to somewhere better. Okay. The choice is, does he move recklessly as a 4-4? I think he wants to. So he's a 6-9, so now he can run right into danger here. But not yet. That wasp needs to move first. We need to see what our opponents do. Grace. Alright, Grace. What are you? Grace. Grace's intelligence isn't just about knowledge, it's about application. She adapts on the fly, finds solutions where others see dead ends, and always seems, I'm guessing seems, but typo right there, to know exactly what to say or do to shift a situation in her favor. Grace has little patience for incompetence to laser point this chatter, yada yada. She's smart, not smart she thinks. Alright, she's a big brain person. She's not a bravery person, she's a big brain person. What would big brain person do in here? Not act recklessly, but possibly still jump. I think a better option right now is actually to let our allies move, because we need to get in a position to see our enemies move. They're just trying to run away. And while it would suck on a human player to human player level of letting them see their moves, here we go. Grace, you would definitely jump right behind that locust. That's the smart move. While Winch, Mr. Brave and Reckless, would definitely run 7 hexes there and get right up into that nest of enemies. Boom. There we go. Reckless, again, means you ignore the penalty for the heavy fog, but you have to make a PSR. Make a piloting skill roll on 4. Boom. Succeeds. Force your mech destroyed by ejection. Alright. Now, start with the awesome. Start with the people with the most damage and see what happens here. Double check this. Yes, because they are in sensor range, notice the sort of purple blue line here. We can attack these guys outside of our visual range. And Doc, you're going to shoot that crab because that crab is at +0. And that crab also, I think, got a critical hit on one of our friends. So we are going to shoot that crab. Done firing. Wingman, you're up next. You can you can't shoot the crab, but you can shoot this wasp. Now you're only going to shoot 2 PPCs because you do need to cool off a little bit. Winch, we already know you ran forward to try to deal with this wasp, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Done. Alright, and Grace, you're the smart one. So, obviously not firing your LRMs. You have enough heat to fire just your large laser, but you are in the rear of a locust, so you probably want to fire your small lasers and your SRM. More hits are better. Alright. So, the experienced enemy tank, it hits one of our awesome for 2 damage. It's not bad. An enemy we can't see knocks off the right leg of a forestry mech. That's not good. Doc, 7, 7, 7. 7s are 50% chance. Last turn he had 40% chance on 3 PPCs to hit. This turn he has 51% chance to hit with 3 PPCs. He hits with 1. Doc, your dice are killing you, man. Lots of missing. Allied Locust hits with some damage. Almost a critical hit on a rifleman. That Locust is getting some work done. Wingman firing 2 PPCs. He needs a 4 rolls of 3. He needs a 4 rolls of 5. MegaMek, the dice are not in our favor right now. Come on. Alright. Allied Warhammer misses with a bunch of stuff, hits with just a medium laser. Winch gets the kill. Winch charges forward and gets the kill. Our brand new guy who popped in and was like, I'm gonna get you results. I'm awesome. You need to hire me. His first mission, right? We look forward and be like, what would he do? He recklessly runs forward and he gets a kill. Winch doing the work. Yeah, look. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. Medium laser at Wasp. Needs 7. Rolls 12. Hits the right leg. Medium laser. Needs 7. Rolls 12. Hits the left torso. Small laser. Needs 7. Rolls 8. Hits. Gets the kill. Yeah, Winch. Yeah, you're really showing up Doc right now. Who gets hit by that Wasp. Yeah. Alright. And their Locusts are dealing some damage here, hitting that Rifleman. Alright. Our Wyvern does hit with the SRM. Only a glancing blow because it's a Locust, and gets 4 damage. So, and our allied Forester Mech falls over. Alright. Not a lot of good stuff there. We are going to try to kick here. Kick on 6, yes. That's our only kick. I was going to say, don't we have another kick from Winch? No, because Winch killed the thing he was going to kick. Winch is clutch right now. Alright. Physical attack from the Wasp on our awesome. It hits. That sucks. Alright. Physical attacks from our allied Crusader. Destroys the leg of the Locust. Yes. Their Locusts were doing work, not so much anymore. Speaking of doing work, their Locust kicks the Rifleman. Oh no. The Rifleman kicks the Locust, misses. That's not good. Locust kicks the Crusader. This is the Locust that lost the leg to Crusader. Does hit. Our Wyvern destroys that leg of the Locust. Yes. Alright, Grace. Grace doing some work. Grace made the smart move. Gets the leg destruction. Winch makes the bold move, gets the kill. And then Doc and Wingman are just missing shots. Like, they're the guns, and their job is to try to hit, and they are just not doing it. And we lost initiative again. Not that it really matters all that much in this kind of like chaos, but for real though. Alright. Wingman, your sensor rolled sucked. So you can only shoot in visual range, which is also extra bad for PPC. So we're not going to move you yet. Doc, your sensor range also sucks. So we're not going to move you yet. Winch, you're brave and bold. We're not going to move you yet. And I think we're just going to hit the next player button a bunch of times. Also, this song is a jam. We're going to let our allies and enemies move so we can take advantage of positioning. Let's hit that button, look. Okay, they're moving stuff. And that's it. All right. We've passed as many moves as we possibly can. Let's zoom in here. Critical hasn't moved yet. Viper, Panther, and Crab, they have all moved. Leaky is over here and moved. 0, 2, 2, 0. Alright, Grace, you're the smart one. What would the smart one do with your 4 jump? We don't know yet. Wingman, however, we know what you're going to do. Or do we? because you have a minimum range of 3. That wasp hasn't moved yet. We do need to move you. Yes, if we move you 1 forward, you can shoot that viper. That's what you're going to do. Doc. Alright, Doc. You have no targets that are confirmed yet. You are 3-4. You have heat, so but if we reckless you, we can walk you forward to shoot the viper. That's what we're gonna do. Don't fall, Doc. Don't fall. Great. Alright, that wasp ran over there. Grace, you have a prone target stuck right next to you. Smart move was to be to stay still and kill it, I think. And now we have Winch. Winch, I know what you're gonna try to do. That's 4 hexes. It's only TMM1. We want to see if we can get a little bit more than that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. That is a run. Zoopity doop around. That's a TMM2 directly behind that crab. You haven't taken not much damage at all. Boom. Notice. Come on, Winch. You can do this. I believe in you. Alright, our ally was destroyed. That locust is destroyed. Hopefully that's not the locust that we stayed still to try to shoot. No, it's not. Great. Alright, Winch needs a 4, rolls a 4. I mean, just holding on by his teeth. Winch is getting the job done. I am loving this guy right now. Alright, Grace, you chose to stand still to try to blast this locust to death. So, that's what you're going to do. And you are going to ensure the kill by alpha striking and gaining 2 heat. Done. Then we're going to skip to our awesomes like we should do. Now, these guys both got in position specifically to shoot the Viper, because it's 70 tons. Notice it's BV 1,509 remaining. It starts higher than that. And then we have the experienced J. Edgar hover tank at 718. The Viper is the target. Now we're shooting on 7s. Can you actually hit? Ooh, we're 9 over. Okay, we know just 2 PPCs. Actually, no, we're gonna fire all 3. We are gonna go up 9 heat. We're gonna try to make up for your failures. All right, Doc, can you make up for your failures and actually hit? Right, you had 8s and 7s previously and whiffed with basically everything. Now you have 8s and 7s again, and you're alpha striking to try to deal as much damage as you can to that Viper. Winch, you are shooting to the rear of that crab. That crab, if you look here, each of those little squares is 5 armor. We are in the rear. We want to hit the center torso, right torso, left torso. Those looks like 5, 5, and a little bit more than 5. So the medium lasers would get rid of the armor but not get internal. I think we want to fire everything. We're going to right click. Yeah, he got this. Winch got this. Weapons, alpha strike. All right, Winch. Can you get lucky and kill number 2? All right, Grace, you got to kill. Grace, you're smart. You did the smart move. You secured the kill on the locust. All right, locust fires, rifleman fires. Not much to report. The experienced tank does hit one of our awesomes with an SRM for 2 damage. That sucks. The guy that we don't even know, the mystery man, out of sensor range, does hit one of our awesomes for 10 damage with something. I'm guessing an AC-10 or a PPC. Doc. Oh, Doc. This is he was supposed to redeem himself this turn, and look at again. Needs a 7, rolls a 6. Needs a 7, rolls a 7. Needs a 7, rolls a 6. He hits with 1. 3 shots at 50%, hits 1. Previous turn, 3 shots at 50%, hits 1. Turn before that, 3 shots, 40%, misses with all of them. Doc, you are clinically disappointing me. The Viper, however, 8, 8, 10 misses with everything. So, you know, Doc did get the better of that exchange, I guess, technically. Their Panther does hit Doc with a PPC, though. 7 are remaining on the leg. That's not good. Crab does hit Doc. Doc is taking a lot of fire. Doc might need a Doc at the end of this. Wingman, look at this. Needs 7-9, needs 7-9, needs 7-7. 30 damage. That's hit. Possible critical on that Viper. This is what we want to see from Doc. Wingman doing all the work. Then we have the Warhammer shooting on the Locust, dealing some damage there. We have Ostrok Leaky shooting at Winch, misses with everything. But look at this. Needs 8, rolls 7, needs 8, rolls 6, needs 8, rolls 2, needs 7, rolls 5. Winch just Neo dodging bullets there. Here we go, here we go. Here's Winch. 8 damage to center, torso, rear. Possible crit, 15. His very first shot with his big gun breaches the armor. Okay, Winch. You're doing it. Medium laser needs 7, rolls 7. 5 damage to center, torso, rear. No crit. His crit rolls are sucking. That is some Mech Warrior video game aim right there. Alright, what's the next shot? The next shot is a miss. Then it's small laser to left, torso, rear. Okay, I mean, needs 7 rolls to 2. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen, but we need him to hit the torso. He only hit torso. This guy's baller. He made promises and he's keeping up. Let's just hope it stays. This is new guy luck. That's what it is, new guy luck. Alright, Crusader deals some damage. Enemy Wasp. Oh, immobilizes the heavy BattleMech recovery vehicle, which that definitely sucks. Come on, why aren't you shooting the Awesomes? They've got more armor, and they're not mission critical. Doc needs a 3, rolls a 10. Doesn't fall over. The Viper doesn't fall over either. Okay. Physicals. Of course Winch is going to kick. On a 3? Yeah. Boom. Winch kicks leg. Awesome. He's not an awesome. I can't actually say that. Firestarter kicks a Power Man. That sucks. Power Man hits the Firestarter. Okay. Wasp hits the BattleMech recovery vehicle. That definitely sucks. Our ally falls over. The Firestarter doesn't fall over the enemy. Yeah, enemy staying standing. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you knew this, but forestry mechs suck in combat. So do loader mechs. Industrial mechs are, you know, not built for this situation. So, yeah. And we finally won initiative. Look at that. All right, we're at 91%. They're at 87%. But convoy team is at 62%. So we're approaching mission critical on the convoy. But there's not much we can do right now. Hopefully this over here, this is the important bit of the convoy. That is untouched. Prickleback. Alright, vehicle crew. This Power Man. They're gonna be killed by these guys. But there's nothing much we can do about it. They really should have deployed all together over here, but we can't control how stupid the AI is. Oh. Alright. We are gonna play the let the other players go and make their moves ahead of us so we can get the most information possible. Alright, we've hit the next player button as many times as we can. We look over here. They are afraid of Winch. They are afraid of our guy. For good reason. Doing work. He's not going to be able to get behind that crab again without putting him in a bad position against these guys. But we'll see if this pain can continue. Alright. Doc. Your sensor range sucks yet again. You are still overheating, so you can possibly move there and see the crab. So you are, in order to shoot anything, going to have to move recklessly and do that. Yes, we're going to try this. Wingman. You are standard movement. You can walk there. You would be able, I think, to see these guys. You are 3-4. I think we are going to walk you forward 3 to give you better vision and short range on these targets here. We are, yes, going to do that. All right, and that Wasp went right forward here. Grace 4-6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can try to move recklessly and get there. They have TMM3. Jumping is not the smart move. I think moving recklessly is the only good move, but to, I think, only walk forward. No, that doesn't get into... Although you did Alpha Strike, you are at Heat 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is short range for your LRM, but your sensor range is nothing. So you need to get in visual range. I think you are going to join everybody else and try to move recklessly. Though you are 4-5, Grace. This might not be the smartest move, but it is the best move. We're taking gambles with everybody here. Now, Winch. Oh, I wish you were a jumping Phoenix Hawk. That would make this a lot simpler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5 hexes to get behind Leaky. And try to do this all over again. We're going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a full move. Get right back there. Can he do it? Can he continue? Yes. Everybody succeeds in moving recklessly. We're doing good. We're doing hot. We're saving the convoy. Shooting the awesomes first. Now, sadly, we could shoot in the front of that crab, and that's it. We can't see other targets. It's just the crab or this wasp. Wasp on 11, crab on 7s. Obviously, we got to shoot the crab. And just 2 shots because we're overheating. Done. All right, wingman. Who can you see? You can see a little bit of everybody. Leaky's on 7, Crab's on 5. Crab's taking a bunch of damage. Let's take a look. Rear armor stripped. What do you know? Already taking some internal damage. Winch would love to secure that kill, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. It is objectively the better shot. Just 2 PPC shots into there. We're not going to overheat on this. We have Grace. Grace's shots on that wasp, but they're not the best shots. Ooh, only 9. What's the penalty for the large? Up. The heavy fog is making lasers less accurate, but it's not affecting the SRM. Good to note for missiles. All right. And that wasp is taking some damage here. If you'll look, left torso, right torso. I think we are going to fire the large laser and the SRM just to see if we can get that done. And our MVP right now at 60 from alpha striking. Let's take a look at the rear of Leaky here. Yeah. Plenty of armor. It's an Ostrock. However, oh, we're on the line. So if you look on a hex map, so this crab is facing in this direction, which means the rear arc is on this line. And when you're on the line, the defender chooses. And Princess will pretty much always choose not to be shot in the back. So Winch, as much as I would love him to get the rear shot to kill this crab, not going to happen. So we're going to be shooting at Leaky. And if you'll look, we have right torso rear and left torso rear, each with about 5 armor. Center torso rear with more than 5. We're already at 6 heat. I think we're going to skip the large laser. We're going to try to cool off a little bit and just fire 2 mediums and a small into the back of Leaky. Done. Alright. Tank shoots at the awesome, hits for a little bit of damage. Doc is taking a lot of fire still. Doc shoots 2 PPCs, 50% chance, hits with one of them. You're back to a statistical average, Doc. Alright. Riflehead, Rifleman. We have the Viper missing all of its shots on Winch. Look at that. 11, 11, 11. Whiff. MVP, still MVP. Panther misses Doc. Crab hits Doc with a large laser. Doc is just soaking up fire. At least he's doing the job of an awesome pilot and taking hits. and taking them well. Wingman, look at Wingman. Hits both PPCs on that crab. Doing his job. Leaky the Ostrock hits Doc with more lasers. Yep. Alright. The Power Man, the 2 remaining industrial mechs over on the right side of the map are being taken out by that Wolverine, like I commented. Alright. Grace misses with a large and the SRM. Well, that's a 10 and a 9. That's to be expected. Alright. Warhammer shoots. Wasp hits Doc. Doc is taking more damage. Enemy Firestarter is shooting at the loader back over on the right side. Like I said, here's Winch. Needs 7, rolls 4. Needs 7, rolls 12. Critical. Boom. Man, rolling. That's the third 12 I've seen him shoot. There we go. Needs 7, rolls 8. Hit. Left torso, rear, center torso, rear. Just hitting the torsos. Hitting center mass. Sadly, that Ostrock has a narrow, low profile. So that hit would have gone internal. His 4 armor. So that would have gone internal if it wasn't a glancing blow. Oof. But that's good job, Winch. Good job. You're hitting shots and you're hitting where you need to be shooting. So, all right. Allied Crusader deals some damage to that crab. Awesome. Doc stays standing, and other people stay standing. Nobody falls this turn, but we do get a kick on a 3. Boom. Alright, Firestarter destroys the leg of the loader mech. Yeah, those loader industrial mechs over the right side are just doomed. Alright. Wingman takes some damage. Winch hits with the kick. Beautiful. Doc stays standing. Loader mech falls. Enemy Ostrock stands. Yep. Yeah, the sad part is, let's go to the convoy, 55%. These industrial mech and cargo units are so weak that it is these convoy missions are kind of impossible unless you take direct control. Like there's things you can possibly do to change settings, such as like make them offset the deployment zone so they're only deploying in one area or one not, so they're not deploying like spread out, because I think if we had concentrated things, it might have worked out better, because we could have concentrated our defense. But you know, you're seeing these loader mechs just vanish to a 30-ton fire starter. But we're at 89, they're at 85, and most of the loss is coming from, you know, like the convoy and whatnot. So alright. Do what we do and hit that next player button until we can't anymore. And we can't anymore. Alright, take a look at the situation. That Wasp has moved and engaged that Warhammer. I'm okay with this. Crab is there. They are afraid of Winch. They are afraid of this man, rightfully so, but also there's loophole. There's the missing units. You know how there was like mystery enemies shooting and hitting for 10 damage? We found them. We found loophole in a Warhammer and a Marauder. Now I want to salvage these if possible, but this is the nasty group. This is the bad boys. This is a scariness that we're gonna have to deal with in a minute. Winch might not want to stay here because we have a ran for nothing and ran for like 1 hex. Okay, they barely moved. Doc is in the yellow, and Wingman, you're doing okay. We might actually want to use these trees to our advantage, but right now we have Grace. Where is Grace? We have a crab that didn't move at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think Grace, you're just gonna jump and get right up close. That seems like a smart move for a smart lady. Doc, your sensors are out to there. I think you're actually in a good position to stay still. And Wingman, your sensors are way out to there. I think you are also in a good position to just stay still, get cool off, and make some good shots. Winch. Oof. I mean, you want to get in the rear of that Viper. You want to get in the rear of Leaky. And you want to get in the rear of that Crab. But however, that Crab is probably going to be shot out by these Awesomes, so it's not exactly a good situation. If we can get into that heavy woods... 1, 2, 3. We can, in fact, get into that heavy woods on 3 hexes for TMM 1 with 2 bonus for the heavy woods. That is on a run. What if we recklessly do that? That's even worse. All right. We want to do this and face this direction in the following turn. We're going to risk it for the biscuit to get in the rear. Woo! Woo! I don't think I want to risk it for that much biscuit. That is 3 checks of 4. We just want to make a 1. I think what we want to do instead... it's just not that. Like, there's reckless, and then there's just purposeful self-endangerment. And I don't think we want to make 3 checks on 4. Is it probable that he's going to beat it? Yes, but we are pushing our luck with everybody moving recklessly last turn. So, oh, getting into the rear of that guy would be so good. Alright. You jumped. We don't know what you are shooting, but that is not a good position because we could just regular run right there, but that puts that guy in his rear. This is a tough position to be in. Alright. We're pushing our luck with our hero here. But this man said he can do the job. He spoke up. He talked so much about himself and what he could do. So here's my question to you guys out there. Do we continue pushing our luck? Do we recklessly run into these woods and put ourselves in position to possibly kill Leaky from the rear? Possibly kill Leaky from the rear is a statement should not be taken out of context. Or our other option is, I think, to use a 6-9. We can, I think, back up 6 hexes and put us in a good position to move in. Actually, I don't like that. Second option, I think, is that. So we're going to be moving recklessly. The question is, do we make 3 checks and get behind Leaky, or 1 check and get in woods cover from these guys? So... go for the kill, or... $18 viewers. Let's see what you guys think. I'm liking Winch so far. I mean, this guy, he's at least gotten 1 kill. He's got, you know, so much damage on Leaky, on this crab. It is saying I don't know what the delay on this is, so I'm just curious. It says I've got at least a dozen of you out there. So I'm curious if you guys will see this poll, when you'll see it, and how you respond. What do we think Winch should do here? Give it a couple of minutes. In the meantime, take a look at the situation. Survey the map, because we have Forester Mech, Powerman, Forester Mech, Prickleback, and I think this Foot Stealth Platoon is part of the convoy. Yes. So I think if these guys, just in terms of unit count, make it through, if we can protect these guys, I think we've still got the mission. And we've got the Rifleman, Crusader, we have Undercover here, another Rifleman, and this Warhammer, all in a good position to try to protect these guys as they move forward. This Powerman's dead. It's not surviving the Firestarter and Wolverine. I do want to try and get it so that we can salvage this Warhammer and this Marauder. That's going to be tricky. Second, just knock the cord out of my headphones, and here we go. We have votes coming in, and I think it is going to be going for the kill here. We're doing it. Four rolls of 4. Winch. You talk a good game. What's going to happen? Da 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 da. 8, 4, 7. He does it. Boom. And we did say he was going for the kill. So we're pulling him up first. And he is going to alpha strike into the back of Leaky. That sounds gross. All right. Grace, you're smart, but let's check what the awesomes can do first. So, Doc, you have shots on all of this. All right, Grace, what are your numbers shooting that crab? 8s and 7s, and that crab is probably not going to die just from this, but I think she is going to alpha strike because she is in a good spot now because she's jump into these woods. This is a great time to have jump jets, though she is 10 heat over, but that's okay. In the meantime, Doc shooting the crab on 4s, shooting Leaky on 7s, shooting Loophole, the Warhammer on 8s, and that Marauder also on 8s. This is a good moment to let's pull up Doc. Doc. This does not give us your call sign in here. Which one's Doc? Okay, Doc is going to be the secondary lance. Winch. Wingman, Grace, Camille, Doc. All right, Doc. Always on the move, always ready for the next challenge, whether it's a battle training session or just another long march. He tackles everything with relentless enthusiasm and refuses to slow down. Doc always has an excuse, a clever explanation, or a way to shift blame. Oh god, she's kind of slimy. He might sound sincere, but when push comes to shove, he'll disappear, take the better offer, or leave others holding the bag. Doc's speech patterns are completely unpredictable. One moment he's speaking with a crisp formal tone, the next he's dropped into a thick drawl or clip military jargon. Aye, lad, ye best watch your flank. Oh wait, I mean move your ass before they frag you. Okay, Doc is a weirdo. But he is kind of indecisive and slick. I think he would actually try to change targets and shoot that Marauder. I mean, 8s are not bad, and we want to get some damage on it. So, and he's just like, I've been whiffing. I'm going to turn. I'm going to try to shoot this guy and not look like a loser. That's what I've decided he's going to do. Done firing. Wingman. What are you up to here? Wingman. There's a fine line between bravery and recklessness, but Wingman doesn't care. He leaps before he looks, convinced that if no one else dares to try, it means he's the only one bold enough to succeed. Wingman's actions rarely follow a clear pattern. One moment he's cautious and methodical, the next he's diving headfirst into chaos. His unpredictability keeps enemies and sometimes allies on the edge. Okay, so Wingman is unpredictable. Crab's in minimum range. It's still 5s. He had been shooting at Viper. Viper's taking some amount of damage. That is 8s. Loophole's on 6s. I think he's going to go for Loophole. I think he's going to shoot the Warhammer. Done. Alright. Ooh, Winch dodging shots. Mystery Man missing. We have Loophole shooting at Wingman. There we go. They're shooting at each other with PPCs. Alright, Warhammer Loophole hits Wingman for 20 damage. I want to see what Wingman does in return, but we'll find out later here. A bunch of misses. Viper tries to shoot at Winch. Missing with all those shots. Look at that. Possible fire. Because he's in woods. Winch. Needs 8 rolls, 5 misses. Needs 8 rolls, 8 glancing blow. 2 damage to the leg. Okay. 5 damage to the leg. We have 1 torso hit. It's a glancing blow. Strips the armor. Oh. I mean, that's not a particularly upsetting turn because we, needs 8s. He hits with 3. That is so much better than Doc and Wingman. He just doesn't quite get the killing blow we'd hoped for, but hey, it's not over. He's dodged. Evasive like Neo. Crab shoots Doc. Armor stripped on the left leg. That's not good. Grace hits with a large laser, hits with a small laser, hits with the SRM, but doesn't strip armor, doesn't hit any vulnerable locations. Okay. Doc takes more damage. The LoaderMech over the way is kind of screwed. That pattern continues. Allied Warhammer shoots at a Wasp. Doc shoots at Loophole. Hits with 1 PPC. Alright, so Doc was the one shooting Loophole. Loophole shot at Wingman, and Doc hits with 1 versus Loophole hits with 2. Again, oh my gosh, Doc needs 8 rolls 6, needs 8 rolls 8, needs 8 rolls 7. He hasn't had a good turn yet. He has not had a good turn yet. He's been shooting on 8s and 7s this whole freaking time. That's a 50 and a 40% chance to hit, and he's missed so often. Oi. Alright, enemy wasps, hits the allied Warhammer. Enemy Firestarter, hits the convoy unit, that's all said. Alright, Wingman, shooting at Loophole. And hits with 2. There we go. Okay, Wingman was shooting at Loophole. And returns fire on 6s, hits with 2. He does an even damage exchange with Loophole. And Wingman stays standing. LoaderMech falls. Warhammer stays standing. Alright. That could have been worse. Could have been better. Kick the crab. Kick Leaky. See what happens. Wasp kicks an ally. Ally tries to punch the Wasp. Grace hits with the kick on the crab. 2 armor remaining on the leg. Crab misses the kick on Grace. Winch gets the kick on Leaky. Hits the leg. 6 armor remaining. And the crab falls. That's nice. Boom. Alright. Round report. We are 87, they're 83. The convoy is at 46. Oh, yeah. So that's 46% by BV. We have 6 out of 11 units remaining. That is more than 50%. So that does include this Power Man, though. So we're going to be 5 out of 11, but I'm going to consider this guy, the full self platoon, not actual a convoy unit. So if we can get these guys out, we can I'll GM hand washing myself to a victory because we gotta handicap the fact that I don't know. Oh, there's a vehicle crew here and Karen here. We gotta, and you know what? We can claim salvage on some of this stuff, so we can say that we salvage some of the stuff that was destroyed or whatever, so it wasn't completely destroyed. Whatever it is, we can hand wave them and say that we won this because there's generally no possible way to win with how stupid the AI is. It's like an escort mission from a 90s video game where they're just walking into walls and dying, so you have to reload 5 million times. Like, we're not going to reload and replay this thing that, oh my gosh, it's almost 8 o'clock already. So, yeah, this one mission is taking a long time, but it's kind of fun. I'm actually really enjoying the way this is playing out right now. All right, initiative report done. I don't even remember who won. Right? They're still at 80-something%, so they're not even almost, like, mostly dead. I think this is just the rest of them, right? Because I think it's just Loophole. Yeah, at 1,600, and this Marauder 1,300, plus that Viper. This is the majority of their BV right here. These 3 units that are all still in green. We're wearing things down here. Let's hit that next player button. Just keep clicking. All right. Grace is at 10 heat, can jump into these woods and put herself in a good position for the next turn. I think that's the smart move for her, and that'll give us some room to see, give some room for Doc and Wingman to plan their actions. So that's what we're going to do, and she's going to be in an excellent position to jump and do something next turn. Grace is going to make the smart move. Doc's at 5 heat. Ooh, 2-3. Oh, if we just was 1 heat less, he could possibly run forward and do something cool. But Wingman, you are at 2 heat. You can do this. You can run forward and try to, like, punch Leaky. And no! Our first failure at being reckless. From Wingman, the Chaos Agent. Alright, and this is not letting me click the done button. There we go. Alright. Well, can you stand up still? Yes, you can. You can get up. You can't careful stand. Stand up on a 4. Yes! Alright, Wingman, you recovered from your stupidity. Doc, I think you are going to try to run forward 3 because you want that TMM. You are taking a lot of hits. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Fantastic. Winch. Oh, Winch. That Marauder walked is a 4-5. What does it have? Is it the PPC's lasers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's TMM 2. It walked 3. Gunnery 4. 7s for 8s because of the weather conditions on 2 PPCs on Winch right there. I do not like that. So Doc and Wingman are probably going to be shooting at this crab into the rear, because that crab is not doing great, and that might kill it. If we get behind Leaky, line of sight to that is on the line. So we can probably count that woods. Viper can't see, Panther can't see, Marauder. Check the line of sight to that Marauder. Definitely goes through that woods. Long. Winch has a good move to get behind Leaky and try to go for the kill again. And that would be on just a regular run, but that is no TMM. Out of visual range of Loophole. We depending on Loophole getting sensors or something to be able to see. I don't like that. Honestly, I think we'd have a higher TMM just standing still in woods, but we have more possible shots on us. So winch. I mean, it's been working. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's no good way to get 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. That does put your rear over here. We don't like that. That's your walk 6. That's not quite in the rear of that Panther there. Reckless. Nope. Four, 5. That's Team M1 with Woods. Honestly, that's still not better than just standing in the woods. That crab still all of its guns. 5. Or you know what? Straight line to that. That puts the woods between him and the Marauder. That is 3 hexes. That is still short range of the laser, of the large laser and the medium laser. I think that's the move. That should be only 1 check. Yes, doing it. Boom. Op Force turn to move, and they're done. Okay, we lost Loader Mech due to ejection. That's fine. Wingman, we already know, needs a 4 rolls 3 falls. Gross. Needs a 4 roll damage, rolls 2, takes a head hit. Ugh. And stands. Okay, we're good. Grace. You do not have rear shot on Leaky. Do have shots on that crab, but we have rear shots on that crab from Doc. Doc, you're shooting on 6s now. 2 shots and 6 at the back of that crab. Please kill it. Wingman, you're a chaos agent. You just fell over. Can you shoot Loophole? Can you shoot Viper? No. Also at a visual range. Can you shoot Leaky? I think Leaky is mostly just vulnerable from the rear. Yes, Leaky is vulnerable from the rear. What's that crab on 7s? No, the critical is on 7s. Crab is on 5s. What's the BV of that crab right now? 811. Let's fire 2. Let's cool off and see if we can secure that, killing that crab. We are in the rear of critical. Grace, although that is on 11s. Grace is already 2 heat over. Ooh. Grace, I don't think you have a good shot on anybody that's worth trying. She's in a position to take advantage of next turn, so she's not going to fire anything to conserve heat. We already decided Winch was going to shoot into the rear of that Warhammer. And alright, let's take a look at that Warhammer. Yeah, it's got more than 5 in each location. We're going to fire the large laser. That puts us 1 heat over, and a medium laser. That puts us 4 heat over, which is not enough to affect our movement. Done. Come on, get that Mech Warrior aim. Alright, Doc takes a critical hit to the lower leg. That's not good. But also, Doc has been... The one thing Doc has been doing is soaking up damage, and that's not going to stop with that. Ooh, question. Fires at winch. Does take 10 damage to the leg. You don't even know who that was. A mystery person. Probably that marauder. Yeah, because those are the only arrows firing, so it's just that marauder. That marauder is the mystery person. Doc does get the kill on the crab, which means other shots are wasted on the crab, sadly, and only just reduce the salvage. But we wanted to secure the kill. We want to get BV off the table so we can win this. Panther does hit Grace with an SRM4, but that's not overly concerning. Doc does continue to take more damage. Our allied Crusader does finally take out this wasp. Doc falls over. Alright. I'm just very disappointed in Doc's performance. I think Wingman has kind of turned up and started to redeem some of his early misperformances and shots, but Doc is just, yeah, 37. Mech Warrior Online? I've never actually played Mech Warrior Online. Like years and years ago, I installed it once, and then Mech Warrior Tabletop. This is Mech Warrior. This is because MegaMek, it is a version of Tabletop BattleTech in like a 20-year-old, 25-year, I think it's 25-year-old sort of like program here. So if you've ever played Tabletop BattleTech, this is a simulator for Tabletop BattleTech. And I love it. Where were we thinking about? Okay. Oh yeah, we're gonna hit the next player button to let our allies and enemies get in position so we can take maximum advantage of positioning. Hold on. Who's over here? How? How is he at 23 heat? He's over here by himself. What did you do? He's taking no damage. Did he just trip and fall on himself? I'm so confused. So this is why I was saying, like, the convoy units, the AI stuff is so inept that there's almost nothing you can do to ever like fully satisfy the criteria. They die when they trip on their own shoelaces that they forgot to tie, right? How is he at 23 heat immobile and shut down after not taking any damage whatsoever? I could go in the log and try to find out, but honestly, this is all the proof you need to know that, like, if you are playing MegaMek and you get one of these missions, it is perfectly fine to turn on the GM mode and wiggle with things however you feel is reasonable to give yourself a handicap win, because literally nothing happened to this guy and he's dying. Nothing. Tripped on his shoelaces. Goodness. Alright. Wait, was he on ice? No, he's not even on ice. This guy's near ice and might fall on ice, and okay, I could get that, but him, somehow he's overheating and nothing happened. Alright. Doc, you're gonna stand up and you're gonna try to punch Leaky. That's what you're going to do. Yep, needs a 5. Do it. Yeah. Wingman, I want to see you do something. You have full movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means you can torso twist and try to punch Leaky. Doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not the rear, but you can. I mean, you can jump 3, get right positioned behind that Panther, and still have a good team M and shelter from the Viper and the Marauder, Grace. That's a smart move. That Panther does not have a lot of rear armor. It's got no TMM. You're going to be shooting on, well, not quite 7th. But yeah, you're doing that. And then our favorite boy, Winch. What is Winch going to do? I mean, the Viper's the obvious target, but the Viper hasn't taken any rear damage. Reckless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. I mean, can we do that? Yes, we can. We can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Torso twist, shoot the Marauder in the rear. That is... Ooh, yep, because we're moving through stuff. Nope. I think we just want to do that on a walk, torso twist, and shoot the Marauder. That is just a walk. So, 1. Yes. Perfect. Alright, here we go. Wingman, we're gonna go with you first. I think you want to shoot loophole if you can. You can. Boom, boom, boom. Actually, no. First, we're gonna torso twist like this. Dang. Because I wanted to see... Alright, doesn't matter. Because the PPC is in the right arm. We can still left arm try to punch Leaky into the physical phase. So we are going to do all of that niceness. Fire on loophole. Loophole's shooting on Grace, but Grace wants to shoot the Panther in the rear. And she is in a fun jumpy spot, so she is definitely going to Alpha Strike into the rear of that Panther. Except, well, not technically, because we're the LRM-10, which I'm definitely thinking about removing that LRM-10, because LRMs are not particularly good. Inner sphere LRMs anyway. Alright. Winch. You're at 5 heat. You are behind the Marauder. The Marauder is going to have some decent rear armor. Yeah. Not quite 5 in each slot. So I think you definitely want to fire the large laser and a medium laser. And you know what? Let's also do the small laser. Again, puts you at 4 heat. So you still have full movement. And you are getting some damage into the rear of that Marauder. We're good with that. Doc. Can you see loophole? Yes. Can you see the Panther? Also yes. I think, Doc, you're going to shoot that Panther on 6s because I can't trust you to hit something on 7s. Done. Alright. That stupid tank hits Doc. Wingman hits with 2 of the PPCs out of 3, almost 3 out of 3 on that Warhammer. Alright. Marauder shoots at Winch, hits with 1 of the PPCs on the leg. Needs 12, rolls 12. I mean, you can't stop from rolling 12s. Warhammer misses with a whole bunch of stuff trying to shoot Grace. No accidental fires. Oh yeah, needs a 2 for an accidental fire. I'm guessing because it's so cold out. Grace does hit the Panther with a large laser, but on the arm, not in the torso like we need it. Hits with the SRM. Does not get any torso shots. Grace is not winning the Mech Warrior AIM award here. Viper misses Winch. The Panther shoots at Doc. Destroys a PPC on the right arm. Doc, come on. Warhammer shoots at some stuff. Winch. Look. Winch. Large laser, right torso rear. Boom, armor stripped. Fantastic. Medium laser, head hit. 2 damage, 1 total hit. Misses the small laser. Winch continues to be MVP. Leaky, large laser at Doc. Left arm. Strips. Doc is not doing great. Doc destroys the left arm. The not important arm of the Panther. Wow, Doc. He does manage to stand. The Panther does fall. Okay. Alright, Doc. Kick. Yes. And... okay. Does get a critical hit on a heat sink on the right leg. Oh, boy. Man, Doc is not pulling his weight. This is unimpressive. We lost initiative again. I think I'm not winning initiative at all. We're at 71, they're at 78. We are now actually on a losing side here, but I think that's largely due to our allies, but also Doc. Wingman should have been able to punch. Oh, I had my left and right reversed. Never mind. That was me. We probably should have torso twist to... No, we couldn't have done anything. Alright. Doc. Alright, we're going to hit the next player button. We're going to let our allies and enemies move so we can try to get the most optimal positions possible. Alright. And we're out. Goodness. Alright. They hate winch. And that is pulling a lot of weight in this direction. And I like that. MVP for sure. Warhammer's not taking any rear damage. Panther is not taking any rear damage. But we want Leaky to move out of the way. Wingman still has 5 movement. We're going to charge right up next to Loophole. Boom, if we can. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Yes! Leaky still hasn't moved. Okay. Grace. What's the smart move for Grace? Not to expose herself to the Viper and the Marauder. Probably, what's her heat at? 7? If she jumps, that's going to put her at basically maximum heat. Panther is taking damage to one of the legs, the right leg. This is the left leg, this is the right leg. That's the least jumping. No, it's jumping 2, jumping 2. You want to at least jump 3. We're going to jump 3 into the woods. It's a safe position, and again, we're waiting to see if she can do something next turn. Alright. Leaky has moved. Doc, you're a 1-2. You're basically going to minimum move 1 forward. Yeah. That's what you can do. I mean, you have left, Doc. You have 2 PPCs? No, Doc, you're going to stand still. You're going to man up and you're going to try to go face to face with Leaky and see if you can do something about that. Alright. Winch. MVP. Alright, now here's something we need to check before we do. We're going to look at this Marauder. And we need to see its system's left or right arm. It has a lower arm. So mechs without a lower arm actuator can actually just sort of flip their, reverse their arms and shoot behind them with their arm guns. But because it has a lower arm actuator, it can't flippy arms, which means we can possibly just regular run right here. I don't necessarily like that because we're not building any TMM and we do have the Viper there. Though the Viper is 4 gunnery and jump, so it's been looking at a base target number of 7 just to shoot anything. All it has is lasers. Because of the fog, lasers have a +1, so we're looking at 8. So there's a 40% chance right now if Winch doesn't move at all. If Winch just stands still, that Viper has a 40% chance to hit him. If we move to that woods is in the way right here, which is still in the rear of that Marauder, not only is that 3 hexes for 1 TMM, that's a 9, so that wood is there, that's 10s. The Marauder could try torso twisting, but that means that Marauder would only be able to shoot with weapons in its right arm. Problem there is we could only torso twist and hit the Marauder with stuff in our right arm, which is, let's take, we want to look at here, the large laser and a medium laser. Okay, but that does put both the Marauder and the Viper in the rear, and we do not have a lot of armor there, and they have some big guns. So running forward 3, mathematically not a good option, particularly because that Marauder walked, so it's gonna be shooting on good numbers. So what we want to do, we do want to move recklessly again. So here puts us, still not that good. It is 5 hexes on a walk that is directly behind the Marauder. Marauder is no TMM. It is medium range for the medium lasers, but we are also not enough heat. The Viper won't have a good shot on us. That, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 6 hexes, so it is even at medium range for the large lasers. So we are in a good position against the Viper. The Marauder can only hit us with 1 arm. We have a TMM2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's inner main arc. So yeah, we are going to recklessly move there and hope that works out. Winch is killing it. Winch is killing it. All right, Grace, you have 2 heat free. I think you're still going to try to fire your SRM on 8 into that Panther. Panther's got a lot of... no, okay. No. Wingman. You've got 9s on PPC there. You got 9s there. You got can't see. And you can't fire it backwards. Although you can fire. Nope, you can't see. Your shots are against him or him. And even though they're on 9s, yeah, you're firing 2. You know what you're firing? Your head small laser. Boom. You're charging forward, firing all of your guns. If you hit with anything, we're gonna fire the SRM. So we're gonna get some heat. We're gonna fire with grace. Winch is 100%. Definitely the large laser. Yeah, we're no, we don't want 6 heat. We're just all right. Let's do large laser. Right arm large laser, right arm medium laser into the Marauder, into the rear. Let's hope we continue that Mech Warrior aim and get something. Doc shooting Leaky on 7s, Panther on 8s. Leaky needs some damage, but we do have the Rifleman, the Warhammer going in. You know what, Doc? You need to deal some damage to this vehicle that's been fucking effing, pardon me there, this tank that's been hurting you slowly over time. That's what you're doing. Done. Alright, Wingman. Miss with PPC, hits with PPC, hits with laser. And those are on 9s. That's a good return. Awesome job, Wingman. Alright, the tank hits Doc with more missiles. The Marauder hits Winch with a single medium laser in the center torso. There we go. Grace does hit Loophole with the SRM. Does get a possible crit on the left arm. No success there. Loophole hits with just a small laser and a machine gun into Wingman. Wingman's doing some work here, catching up. All right, here we go. Here's the important one. Winch, large laser, right leg. Boo. But he does hit, and the medium laser needs 8, rolls 7, misses. Ooh, so close. And glancing blow is Winch's enemy right now. Wingman playing evasive here, dodging stuff. Enemy Warhammer does destroy the leg of Leaky. There we go. Doc, takes some damage to that left arm. There's no gun in the left arm, but we were kind of hoping we could possibly punch or something with it. Then we have heat sink on the left leg, damage to the left leg. Why is he just... It's like he's just getting hit on that leg. No joke. Let's look at Doc here. Lots of the left side. Lots of damage to the left side. Right leg fine, left leg bad. Left arm bad. Right arm not also kind of bad, but doing better. The torsos and everything kind of okay. Like, what the heck? Awesome. Major damage, immobilizes on the first shot that freaking hover tank. All right. And Doc stands. Excellent. Leaky automatically falls. Excellent. Takes a hit. Physical phase. Because he's still facing this direction, Doc can get the kick on automatic hit against Leaky. Yes. Wingman can get a kick on 4 against Loophole. Yes. Boom. That's both legs destroyed on Leaky. Fantastic. That is armor stripped and internal damage on the right leg of Loophole. Great. Loophole does get a kick against Wingman. Armor remaining. Okay, they're both standing. Done. Alright. How? Force your mech. Gains 0 heat, sinks 0 heat, and is now at 23 heat. How? Oh. Do they gain heat for moving, but they don't sink any heat? What? Is that really how it works? They just can't cool off at all? Yeah, I'm ignoring the whole convoy thing, because if they literally look like heat 25-0 systems, I see no heat sinks whatsoever. These things can't cool off. Yeah, okay. So they shut down just from moving. Yeah, heat 20, heat 23. All right, this mission was impossible. I'm just kind of going to ignore, like, if they literally can't cool off and they move. All right, okay, yep. Like I was saying, you got a game master just give you the win sometimes for some of these things, because that is literally. It was literally impossible for them to cross the map, even in snowy winter conditions, because they literally can't cool. Wow. All right, hitting the next player button until the allies are all done moving. Done. Okay. Ooh. Loophole. All right, Doc. You have 2 immobile targets to possibly shoot. Can you possibly back up there? No. Can you possibly recklessly back up there? Yes. On a 5. No. You're going to do what you did before. You're going to torso twist to shoot there, and you're going to kick him. Done. Alright, there's one thing done. Grace. You're at 2 heat. Right leg damage. So if you jump here, you automatically get a kick on the, because you're on the right side, on the right leg there if you stand. Great. That's what we're doing. That's a smart move. Oh my gosh, the Marauder and the Viper. The Marauder walked 1. The Viper jumped 4. It's tempting. All right. Wingman. 3-5. Full movement. Actually, could have, think about it, could have moved there. Torso twisted and gotten the kick on Loophole. Ooh. 2, 3, 4, 5. It is on the right side. That puts you there. Yeah, reckless 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. That would be still just within minimum range. 0 with 1 woods in the way. Or, but Loophole also has PPCs. I think we're going to recklessly back up there. And that means we can kick either of these guys. Let's try it. Success. See, reckless movement. Your princess doesn't know how to recklessly move. We do. And it's what's going to win us the game here. Although, now we have a confusing position to be in, because what do we do now? Winch has got both the Marauder and Viper kind of while they're trying to shoot him, although the Marauder does have minimum range on both of its big guns. The AC-5s in the right torso can't possibly get him. Viper jumped. Large lasers are in the left torso and right torso. They can't shoot behind him. We would only be looking at being shot at by medium lasers in total of 4 medium lasers possible. Okay. That's 4. That's a walk. That's in minimum range. So 4, 5 for walking, 6, 7, 8s, 9s. 9 for the PPC, 8 for the medium laser versus you, 7, 8, 9. But also, you're in a good position to keep shooting at that Marauder. And Winch is in decent health and could possibly just run forward and away. We're doing it. We're doing it. Boom. MVP Winch. Keeping it going. All right, Doc, you're first. Doc, you are going to try to shoot this stupid thing on not the right side, left side. Alright. Wingman, you're up. You can try to kill the Panther. 28? No, no. 8s? 8s are much better. We're firing everything on that Warhammer. Grace. I think you're also going to fire everything on that Warhammer. Even if you overheat. I mean, not everything, because you don't want to fire. You're not firing an LRM that close. Done. Winch. Large laser. Medium laser. Medium laser. I think we are going to go for an overheat this turn, because we've stripped the armor on the right torso rear, and you want to try to hit it. And then next turn we can try to run and dash for safety. All right. Stupid tank shoots the Doc again, hits with the medium laser, right torsos. And Doc shoots and hits the left side and doesn't actually... It stuns the crew. Okay, that's not overly impressive. Yep. Winch gets hit by a medium laser. Whatever. Allied Rifleman gets the kill on the thing that Doc disabled. What do you know? Loophole hits with 2 medium lasers, 2 machine guns, and an SRM on Wingman. Rerolled edge hit. There's armor remaining on every location. The weakest location is the left arm, and there's nothing in the left arm. Wingman, however, turns, shoots with the PPCs, hits with 2 of them, 2 out of 3 on 8s. All right, Wingman, you are definitely redeeming yourself here. That is 4 internal structure remaining on that right leg. The right leg is what we wanted to deal damage to, because Grace is in a position to kick and automatically hit that right leg for more than 4 damage. So we are about to potentially destroy that leg. Oh, left arm hit, critical on the PPC. This is great. That's a good job, Wingman. The Viper hits Winch. Winch has taken 2 medium laser hits this turn. Let's see what his damage is going to be. Leaky takes some amount of damage, but nothing impressive from that Rifleman. Doc gets hit by a PPC in the right leg, where there's still plenty of armor, so that's lucky. Grace hits with a small laser, okay, and the SRM. Right leg, 2 internal remaining on that right leg. That right leg is going to be gone if we hit with a kick. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Winch, MVP, needs 6, rolls 4 on the large laser. Okay, that sucks, but needs 6, rolls 9 a medium laser. Center torso rear, not the torso we wanted to hit. but fine. Medium laser on the right torso rear. That is the exact torso we wanted to hit, and we avoided a glancing blow. We get a critical roll, no critical. However, small laser hits that same torso. We do get the glancing blow, 1 damage, no critical hit. So Winch can hit, Winch can deal damage, Winch can like a Mech Warrior sniper aim into the location we want. You just can't get the critical rolls. Can't get the critical rolls. Oh. And then Warhammer does hit. There we go. Done. Alright, yes, we're kicking, 83% chance. Yes, we're kicking, 41% chance. Yes, we're kicking, it's immobile. We would have to defy physics and statistics to not possibly hit. And we have a choice here and here. I think we're going to kick the bigger target on 3, 97% chance. And yes, automatic hit on that right leg, destroyed, fallen down. Damage goes to the right torso, no armor remaining, perfect. Panther kicks Wingman, does hit, no armor in that right leg left, but doesn't strip armor, so we're good. Winch does kick the Viper, excellent. Loophole misses the kick on Wingman, great. Doc gets the kick, gets 6 damage to right torso rear, goes in 2 internal remaining. Okay, come on. And oh, there we go. Wingman gets the kick, gets the right leg, which goes, because the right leg's gone, goes right into the right torso, which only had a few, like, little itty bitty of it left, destroys that section, transfers to the center torso, possible critical, no critical. Oof. Then all of our guys are standing, and that Warhammer automatically falls because it lost a leg. Critical on engine, that's not good for it. And possibly not good for us trying to salvage it, but we'll see. Alright. Hold on. I wish I could zoom in right now. But like, look at the very bottom here. Pilot Angelina Gentile, Federated Sons Convoy, sits down with colleagues and cracks open a beer. Pilot Larissa Cologne sits down with colleagues and cracks open a beer. What? I don't understand that message at the end. I don't... Okay, so if Convoy... They're below 50%, we win. Boom. Done. Oh. And come on, enter. There we go. And all phases searcher should end. They admit defeat. Fantastic. Boom. And then more cracking open a beer. We win. Put up the pause screen here. Yes, I want to do that. Save all this stuff. Hit the done button. Alright. Switch to the MacJQ. Do you want to declare that your side is controlling the battlefield? Yes, I do. We definitely controlled the battlefield. Doc was definitely crippled. Grace is undamaged. Light damage. That's totally correct. Don't need that. Alright. So that's fine. Let's resize this so we can see it here. Next. Totally fine. Next. Alright, so we can see who escaped. They definitely... Okay, that did not... These did not definitely escape. Sadly... No. If we had asked for them to surrender, the Marauder technically wouldn't have escaped, and we would have clicked that. These guys definitely would have gotten away. Alright, now we can salvage. What is our salvage percent here? We have max 20%. Can we salvage? Nope. Can we salvage? Yes. We can salvage the Warhammer. Not the Viper. That puts us over. Now, the thing is, if we go over our limit here. We have to pay our employer for it. I forget. Well, you know, I can just move this. All right. So in our command lands, we have a Marauder, an Ostrak, a Crusader, and a Longbow. I want that Marauder. So even though we're going slightly over, I'm totally fine paying the difference to get a lightly damaged Marauder. Next. Alright, enemies killed, that's fine. Next. The Warhammer was definitely taken down. I'm going to give the credit to Grace. Because she's the one who did no, it's Wingman. Wingman did the work there. Ostrak, which was the leaky guy. I'm not getting credit. Doc will get the credit for that hover tank, even though it was abandoned. Random Locust, no. Winch should definitely get credit for more than just the one. More than just the one Wasp. So I'm gonna give Winch his MVP credit for everything else there. Boom. Alright. We're just gonna claim that everything that would have possibly killed itself because it can't cool off made it. Done. 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 There we go. Done. And yeah, I'm not gonna mess around with that. Done. Woo! That was one long mission, but I'm actually pretty happy with the results. I think there's one. We're gonna go back and it was advanced combat here. Advanced ground movement. Advanced rules. Where is it? Battlefield records. Because it says to fill all your information. We want that off. It's so confusing when you're trying to target something and you can see what it is. I would rather see the sensor return, the sort of a confusing blip, so I'm not confused why I can't target it and think the game's messing up. So we're gonna go back to that. And yeah, okay, so Winch right here. MVP of that. MVP of that mission. You know what, dude? You have... I'm giving him a promotion. I mean... Boom. I want him in charge of... There he is. He is now in command of that secondary lance. Because, goodness, he did work. Did the work. MVP. Let's order all the missing parts. Personnel, nothing too concerned about for experience-wise. It is 8:40. I don't think I have enough time to start another mission. You know what? I can at least advance time till the next mission pops up. If you notice the briefing room, victory points 2 out of 2 in this objective raid. Which, let's see, the little tooltip pops up. Often means when you're at this, you might be able to actually end the contract early. The contract ends on 2/22. We have technically another few months. Like, we just got here and did two missions. We have a breakthrough and a convoy escort. That is, in no sense for an objective raid, what's going to make it so that we claimed our objective. But as a mercenary company, we could say that we fulfilled our goals. So we're going to advance the day anyway and see what happens, because we need to repair stuff. Yep, maximum stuff, yada yada. Mash capacity 1 out of 0. Well, because we had a mass truck, but we took personnel out of it. All right. Well, we can now that we've updated the whole contract thing at the start, we can actually rent it. Incoming mission. Captain Long-Range Sensor detected enemy activity within an area of operations. Allied commanders credit that we resolved the situation. Frontline breakthrough. Oh boy, okay. That just popped up out of nowhere. Alright, hangar repair bay. We have a lot of stuff, but that is not our main force. Our main force can be deployed for frontline breakthrough. And we won't control the battlefield, so no salvage. All right, we know exactly what we're going to be fighting next turn. So they have 10,000 BV, our allies are 4,000, and our main combat force is 10,000. So this should be relatively easy. We've got... All right, let's deploy our command lance, confirm, yes. Now, because we're a frontline combat unit, we can try to get reinforcements to come in, available BV 1,400. We want nobody here because they are all hurt. And we'll see what we can do here. Okay, so Wooded Valley Snow, I'm fine with that. Fine with the map size, fine with daylight, fine with the light snowfall, so we don't need to use any rerolls. I think we are good. We know what we're going to be facing in 2 weeks. Fantastic. So thank you everybody who joined me tonight. Thank you anybody who is watching the VOD at a later date. Thank you for tuning in for Monday Night MegaMek. Please let me know if you have any questions, if you need any information about how to run this kind of complicated program, any suggestions. I mean, I'm so happy that we got Winch, just came out of nowhere, super clutch, fantastic. Doc sucks. Doc, like, defied statistics in the level in which he sucked. Blood type O positive for O sucks. I don't know. I'm not happy with him right now. We didn't actually see Edith in action. Edith has been doing fantastic. She's a 3 and she's a 2-3. She is a fantastic pilot, but she does no call sign, and we need to figure out something for her. So please like, subscribe, check out our podcast. It's in the channel and everything, and have a wonderful evening.